Malik Wright, up all day and all night, pushing all the buttons up to something till it's alright. He looking at it from all sides and angles. He got the stripes on his body like he played for the Bengals. Oh man, there's no one discussing it. They came, they stayed, they either did it or done it. And I love it, cause all they ever do is win. So kick back, relax, the TWSN.
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of The Sit Down presented by First Star Logistics. Live from the First Star Logistics studio here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm your host, Malik Wright. And today we truly have a jam-packed show if you can't tell. We're joined by my co-host of State of the Jungle. We got Mr. Logan Fulmer. We've got the controversial one himself, Daniel Alameda. Of course, we've got the commissioner. We got Commissioner Yaz. And we got Meg, the first lady of The Sit Down. As always, Meggy Weggy, right? As always, make sure you guys leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the Sit Downs YouTube channel. We appreciate all your support. A lot of stuff we got to get into, and I want to start off in Michigan. I want to start off with Jim Harbaugh. I want to start off with the guy that I personally think was on his way to becoming one of the best coaches in the National Football League before he decided to take the job at Michigan because he couldn't agree to terms with the San Francisco 49ers. Guys, I think that there's a real chance that Jim returns to the NFL. I think that this year is the year. I mean, 2 shots at a national championship. You fell short. You lost to TCU. What? TCU. Or the way what?
Give them credit. They've been playing good football all season.
See, that's one thing I love about Yaz. Yaz is so nice. Yaz is like,
give them the same credit. Thing about me, too.
No, this is true. This is true. I'm a little rough around the edges, if you will. Here's what I'll say. That you lost to the house that Andy Dalton built. You lost to TCU, right? So I think that if they were going to win a national champion, this was going to be the year to do it. Does anybody disagree? You know what? I'm not going to ask anybody to disagree. Meg, we'll start with you.
I mean, I get it, but I also think with his coaching job, if he wanted to be in the NFL, he would be right now. He wouldn't have went to college. So I think I'm not going to be shocked. It's the Colts. You know, I'm not going to be shocked no matter what happens. But at the same time, he had the opportunity. And I know the whole situation with the 49ers was up in the air. But, if he wanted to, he would.
If he wanted to, he would.
So here's one thing I will say. I feel like you have something you want to – I'll let you start.
No, I've got a lot to say. Yeah. I think Harbaugh, I agree and disagree with what Meg said. The reason why I disagree is I think he went to Michigan for a purpose, right? He went to there, to build a legacy. And prior to losing to TCU, it was there. He beat Ohio State. He did exactly what he wanted to do.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. But my whole thought process, I do think that losing to TCU clouds a lot of it. I do. I know Michigan fans are going to remember, okay, we beat Ohio State. But at the end of the day, when they look at his tenure, it's going to be, okay, they had the chance at the national championship and they lost to a far less.
He's produced multiple first-rounders. Yeah. He delivered on his promise. Michigan couldn't get past Ohio State before he got there. What more does he have to prove? It's a tough ask, right? You have to ask yourself, how many more years is Alabama going to not be in the picture, right? So this was, if they were going to actually do something, this would have been the year to actually do it. I'm just being real. Yeah. Look, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts.
I mean, so with Harbaugh in particular, I feel like, and just Michigan in particular, I feel like Michigan, if we're really going to be honest, they have a good chance next year too. They do return a lot of their guys. I think it's just going to come down to if the Colts are the place he wants to be, and if that's kind of the job he wants, then absolutely. I mean, we're talking about a Colts organization that currently employs Jeff Saturday as their head coach. So anything they do, just wouldn't surprise me at this point. I don't really think it surprised anybody. If Peyton Manning's their head coach next year, nobody's going to be surprised. If it's Jim Harbaugh, that'd be awesome. But, I have no clue what the Colts organization has been doing the last few years. And if they want to go with Harbaugh, I don't really think it's a bad idea.
So here's what I'm going to say. Let's give context to the situation because, like we say on every single show, context matters. Harbaugh was extremely successful in the NFL. I mean, I think 2-3 NFC championships. The reason why he's no longer in the NFL is because the guy's psychotic. The guy wanted to win so much. And Jed York of the 49ers was like, dude, take a deep breath. We're going to get there. Do we remember what happened to the 49ers when he left? Well, a lot of their star talent retired. Yeah. A guy that won the linebacker, the guy that won Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, their linebacker, retired. Patrick Willis retired. out on so many people left the 49ers organization. It shows you the impact that a guy like Harbaugh had. I remember one chant that sort of resonated around the entire NFL. You saw it on so many commercials. Who's got it better than us? Nobody. Used to always scream that after a victory. And that they were seriously building a culture. He literally brought the 49ers back from the dead, back from when Eddie DeBartolo Jr. was the owner, things of that nature. So when I look at a guy like Harbaugh, what he could do, he is not coaching in the NFL because he's a Matt Rule, right? Yeah. He's not, or, like he's not coaching in the NFL because the guy was, the NFL, his ownership couldn't adapt to his way of wanting to win. Let me explain something to you. He left the NFL to go back to his alma mater, which was Michigan. He should return to the NFL to go back to the organization that he played quarterback for, that he's a part of their Ring of Honor in the Indianapolis Colts. This is the perfect situation for him. Now, I saw some people on Twitter, Yaz, and I want to hear your take on this. Some people on Twitter have this weird theory, and they said, I think Harbaugh is going to go to the Colts and he's going to convince Andrew Luck to come out of retirement.
Absolutely not.
I said, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty out there. But again, I think a guy like Harbaugh is a culture shifter. I think this is the perfect situation. He's going to be able to have his pick at a quarterback that I think should be from the University of Alabama and Bryce Young. And I think you can actually build a true winner there with the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know. For me, Harbaugh to the Colts makes a lot of sense. I don't see why staying at Michigan makes a lot of sense. I don't think he won a national championship.
What I will say is, if he goes to the Colts, all they need is a quarterback. Because we've seen with just Saturday earlier this year, they look good as soon as he came in, and it shows what can a culture do to that locker room, right? The roster, they've got a good roster, and it's been the 40-year-old quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers, like Nick Foles, like what are we doing? So we said this, 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. They need to stop getting old quarterbacks, and they need to get a head coach. Harbaugh's the first step.
I don't know. I can see them getting Derek Carr.
Yeah. How funny is it going to be, though?
Yeah.
I don't
wish that for them.
I don't want it to happen.
I mean, imagine, though, in a few months when Jim Harbaugh's the head coach of the Colts and he has to draft C.J. Stroud. I wonder how conflicted Michigan and Ohio State fans are going to be then.
They would have to mend that for sure.
So, Derek Carr. Hold on. We're being honest. If we're being honest, right? What are their options? I don't know how high of a draft pick they are. If they can't, if they can't get a young quarterback in the top 5, top 10, they have the roster. Hold on, they have the roster to do it. The defense is talented. They need to add some more pieces. But Derek Carr, Derek Carr
Stop getting old quarterbacks.
Derek Carr is 32.
There's only one old quarterback that I would co-sign them going after. Thomas Brady.
No.
Yes.
I don't know about that one either.
You think so?
Yes.
He's looked good lately.
Indianapolis.
He's looked good. Listen, I think.
Wait. You said he's looked good? Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yep.
Well, he played the Panthers.
He played the. I'll say I don't think this system. I feel like Nick Sirianni saying that systems, but I don't feel like the system currently in Tampa is conducive to Tom Brady's long-term success. The running gun system, that's not his game.
Well, he doesn't have long-term success anymore.
Well, I think if you give him a balanced offense,
now.
Listen, a strong running game.
Yep.
A strong running game.
A great defense. Can make a quarterback look great. Thank you. And Tom Brady, if Tom Brady's on the Colts.
Tom Brady is not going to the Colts.
No.
Where do you think
he's
not retiring? He's not retiring.
Also, if Tom Brady's going to continue to play, I don't think he's going to take his talents to the state of Indiana.
That's
true. I don't think that's possible.
Logan, what is your gripe? What is your gripe with the state of Indiana?
Nothing.
He's right. He's right.
No, we went to that Pacers game. No culture.
I'll be honest with you. I was in New England 2 weeks ago, no culture.
Yeah,
for a team that won that many championships, their game day experience.
Oh, we're
and I don't mean to be rude.
Yeah, Tom's really mad right now.
It's bad. Like it's bad. Like yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, we'll agree to disagree on Harbaugh to the Colts. It'll be exciting to see where he lands because I don't think he's staying at Michigan. I don't think so. But moving on, this is the part of the show I'm excited about because I told everyone that would listen that the Giants were different this year. And I was called crazy. I was told that they weren't going to do anything special. Right, Daniel? I was called that. I said that, right?
I'm going to wait to speak, but you just said the Giants are different? Like, okay.
Anyway, Colton, roll the clip. That are in the mainstream media of the ESPNs of the world and all these different sports networks. Everybody wants to talk down about this team, and they don't want to talk about what this team could potentially be. I've been in those shoes. That was the Bengals last year for me. Giants fans, you guys are building something special there right now. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. And guess what? When you stack good wins on top of good wins on top of good wins, sooner or later, haters like Daniel Alameda over here and other people will have no other choice but to give it. So I take a pause real quick because I'm happy. I'm happy that the Giants faithful, right, proving people wrong. You know, here's what I'm gonna say. I think you should absolutely get ready just to hand the trophy over to Brian Daboll for coaching. You're not gonna hand it to Brian Daboll and give it to Zach Taylor, because what those two were able to do. I'm just being honest with right.
Daniel's face just
Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni
had an easy schedule.
Okay. What are we talking about?
Besides the point.
Out here losing to the Saints. Come on now. But anyway, that's a different topic for a different day. But the way I see it is, I think Brian Daboll should be head coach of the year, considering what Daniel Jones has done with the lack thereof of a receiving core. Mm-hmm. I owe you an apology, Daniel. Not you. I owe you an apology, Daniel. Yeah, I do, because I'm friends with his best friend, and I know I came down and I said a lot of hard stuff about Daniel Jones wasn't the guy and things of that nature. And I still don't think Daniel Jones is truly a franchise changer, but I do think that if Ryan Tannehill could be a starting quarterback in the National Football League and a franchise quarterback for years and get the money that he's got, Daniel Jones could, because I think Daniel Jones is much more talented than Ryan Tannehill. That's the honest truth. I think that it took a coach like Brian Daboll to bring that out of him. Mm-hmm. I'm just here to see if Daniel is going to admit that the Giants can potentially make noise, because the NFC is weak. The NFC is weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it is. It is. Listen, I'm not going to have this turn on me, because I did say that they wouldn't win the division, and I did say that they will not make noise in the playoffs. What are they going to do? Listen, props to Brian Daboll. He has got the best out of Daniel Jones. Jones has only thrown 8 interceptions this year. I don't know how many fumbles, but I know it's less than in the past. So Jones has looked like a completely different quarterback. So props to Daboll. The defense looks elite. Kayvon Thibodeau kind of wilded out. He kind of wilded out, but their defense has been elite this year. So props to them. But if we're being honest, what are they going to do? What noise are they going to make? Are they going to beat the 49ers? No. Are they going to beat the Eagles? No. Are they going to beat the Cowboys? No. What team are they going to beat? Tampa Bay and Tom Brady?
The Vikings.
The Vikings?
No.
Are they going to beat the Vikings?
Maybe. So beat the Vikings. The Vikings are the
biggest
frauds out there, Daniel.
I don't think that what they're doing right now, I don't think it's conducive to playoff success. And like you said, they're not one of the best 4 or 5 teams in the conference. They can play a close playoff game, but they're not beating any of the teams that they're supposed to face up.
In January, anything can happen.
Of course. It only takes one game to get hot. So we have the Bucks playing. Who is the Bucks going to play? The Cowboys, right? So then the Giants are either going to play the Vikings or the 49ers. If they play the 49ers, it's not happening.
Raps.
But if they play the Vikings and they win, they can keep going.
I think they can beat the Vikings.
It's all about being hot.
I think they beat the Vikings. I do.
Yeah. Vikings look like trash right now.
You just said that they.
You were just looking like trash.
The Vikings look like trash.
The
Vikings look like trash, but the Giants, I don't trust what they're doing. I don't think, like, in a matchup versus them versus the Vikings, I see it going out like this, right? I see the Vikings offense completely rolling. It's Kirk Cousins. If he throws 2 interceptions, which is obviously possible, they could lose that game. But I don't see the Giants. I think, didn't they face off early in this year? Didn't the Vikings beat them? Or am I?
Earlier in this year, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's playoff time.
Yeah.
I just think, listen, it's your take and you're sticking by us a lot like your Tua take.
No.
Seriously.
Well, we talked about Tua's hurt. Tua had a concussion against the Packers. Like 2 or 3 interceptions in the 4th quarter after his concussion.
We still talk about it every show.
This guy, when I say that this guy,
it's a fact. He has a concussion, but
again, I think the Giants can beat the Minnesota Vikings. I think in January, any team could be any team, because guess what? At that point, you've separated yourself from the rest of the teams in the league, right? How many? Look what the Vikings did yesterday. Yeah. They were looking like world leaders all year. Huh? Mollywop. They got Meggy Wop. No, they got absolutely destroyed, literally. And the way I see it is like, it's one of those things where there's no rhyme or reason sometimes in NFL playoffs. But I wouldn't write the Giants off just yet. I just think that it's important to know what they are, what the run that they're on right now is special. Being a guy that grew up in New Jersey / New York, if you will, so close to the Giants Stadium, and being surrounded by that culture, it's a breath of fresh air. It's something that I haven't seen since Tom Coughlin was a coach. And I still don't think the team has that swagger to them they used to have when they had like an Odell Beckham and stuff like that and all that good stuff. But I definitely think that team can still shock a lot of people. I do. Well, you got anything on that over there?
I mean, for their success this year, I think, they can beat the Vikings. Outside of that, I don't really know if they can beat those teams. Obviously, anything happen. But regardless, man, you got to love what the Giants are doing. I mean, it might not be their year this year, but you can clearly see the path of success in the near future. I mean, you guys talked about it on the show, so people got ridiculed for saying the Giants don't have a lot of talent. They still don't, but they're winning games. Right. Just imagine like how much it's going to continue to go up when you continue to add talent, when you get Daniel Jones real weapons, when you get bigger names, when Kayvon Thibodeaux develop. Right now might not be the best for them. They're in the playoffs, so enjoy it. Maybe they win a game, which is phenomenal. I mean, winning a playoff game is something. I mean, the Bengals haven't done for years before last year, so it's like you appreciate it when you're there, but the future's bright.
Wait, do we think that Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback next year?
Next year, yeah. I think he's definitely earned himself another year because we've seen it. We've seen it with other quarterbacks. Did I cut you off?
No, I said I wouldn't personally.
Oh, we've seen it with other quarterbacks. If they've proven themselves, they at least get a chance to see what they can do with greater weapons. We've seen with Josh Allen. We saw it with Jalen Hurts. They're going to get him a weapon this offseason. And then next year will kind of be the year, okay, does he take that next jump into the Jalen Hurts-esque, into the, the upper stratosphere of
that's
quarterback.
Crazy.
But I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And that's the point. If he doesn't do that with an elite number one receiver, then it's like, all right, it's wrapped. Dable can do a lot with the quarterback.
I do. And I think that's the one thing that'll hold Dable back. And I just hope that the Giants don't realize it too late, if you will, because I do think that they can make a lot of noise. And apparently there's a report out there that's saying the Giants are going to offer Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley both multi-year deals. We'll see how that plays out. But I would have liked to see the Giants did what the Jacksonville Jaguars actually did earlier this season when they traded for. People forget Calvin Ridley is a Jaguar.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Jaguar. I mean, he's one of the better receivers in the National Football League. I'll tell you what I would love for the Giants to do. There is a wide receiver in New Orleans who they call him Slant Boy. Slant Boy, something like that. Who I'm pretty sure might be on the trade block. If I was the Giants, I'm placing a phone call to New Orleans. I know they're looking at a stretch salary cap because they're in cap hell. I would 100% go after Mike Thomas. I think Mike Thomas. What do you guys think?
No? Anybody would work for them.
Yeah,
anybody.
They're so depleted. Anybody. I mean, they can have Trent Irwin, and I'll be happy for them. You know what I mean? Like,
I wouldn't do it.
they need more talent, man.
Yes, she wouldn't do it. I'm gonna hear this.
I wouldn't do it because they need somebody that's going to be there every single week. Mike Thomas is an incredible receiver, but he's not consistent. He's injured often, and you wouldn't be able to actually develop the team if he's in and out constantly. They need somebody that's going to step in and is going to play almost the entire season.
I love that. Let me ask you a question. And I hate to be that guy. Do you think Mike Thomas sometimes sticks out of the game?
He wants to? Probably. Guy with that mentality. Exactly.
Kenny Golladay.
Kenny Golladay.
When your quarterback is Trevor Siemian,
I don't blame him.
or Jameis Winston, can you blame him?
No, but it's still your
leader of men.
Yeah.
Leader of men. Who's going to ride this bus with me? But we're going to keep it going. Not for just an open, honest discussion about whatever. And this is for the show where people have been waiting. Kenny Pickett. Ken Pickett, he shocked me last night because this is not an apology for me to say that he's elite. But the three throws that he made on that drive last night were truly NFL type of throws. I got to be honest with you guys. There is a reason why I felt how I felt about him. And it goes just beyond how he's played this season. And I understand Matt Canada's a terrible offensive coordinator and all that. But Daniel and I had the pleasure of going to the combine. And this is a fun story. He showed up to the podium late, a couple of hours. I remember all the media ran up to the podium. He was answering questions, and they proceeded to ask him about the game against Tyler Van Dyke and Hurricane. Noticed he got mad. He got pissed off. He was turning red. He didn't like the questions he was being asked, so to speak, because it was one of the tougher games of the Kenny Pickett era. Like people were asking him about
his age and the fact that, it took him so long to dominate the college football scene. I remember when those questions were getting tough, the person from the NFL came to the podium. He wanted to cut it short, and he left the podium. So for me, when I saw Kenny Pickett act like that, I said, okay, here's a guy that doesn't. Here's a guy that doesn't take criticism well. Here's a guy that doesn't like to answer the tough questions. And then earlier this year, he was asked about his interception to touchdown ratio, and the response he gave the media was very Baker Mayfield-esque. What you want me to stop? I'm not gonna ever stop if you can't give us a win. It's like almost like, how dare you ask that question? So for me, there was a lot of things that made me have a question mark around Kenny Pickett, and I still have those question marks around Kenny Pickett. But I will say, last night was damn impressive, like especially against a Baltimore Ravens team that I have a lot of respect for. I think that their defense is top notch, elite, especially ever since they grabbed Roquan Smith. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not ready to say I was completely wrong about Kenny Pickett. But I will say, I maybe I rushed judgment a little bit.
I was just going to say, I think you're kind of touching on two different subjects, though, because one, like how he answers interview, how he presents himself to the media after a bad play, that's kind of on his character. Mm-hmm. If he was acting that way, but then on the field was consistently making these elite throws like those three last night, then it would be different. It would be.
I think you're right. I think the thing for me is he's very average. His performances he put on. This is the part where Pittsburgh Steelers fans say I'm a hater, and I'm not a hater. Listen, all I did was we put out a short, and I said Kenny Pickett will never be elite. That's an okay thing to say.
He's going to be a quarterback. Like he's going to do a job, but it's not going to be.
He's not going to be elite.
Spectacular. All the time.
I think the NFL has gotten us into this conditioned state of mind that every quarterback has to be elite, and that's just not. This is not realistic, right? Not every quarterback can be up there with the upper echelon. Matt Jones will never be elite. Newsflash, right? But you can have great years, and sometimes those great years can spawn other things. Like Andy Dalton in 2015 was an elite quarterback. Before he dislocated his thumb, he was statistically the best quarterback in the National Football League, leading the MVP race, leading the Bengals to an 8-0 record. That is not something that is the truth. That is what
that felt like a fever dream.
Right. And it was like, damn, Andy, I've never seen you play. Nick Foles, that playoff run was playing elite for the Eagles. Joe Flacco, that playoff run was playing elite for the Ravens. There's a difference between being an elite quarterback and having an elite performance. Right? I feel like Emmanuel Ocho right now.
That was really good, though. That was really good because a lot of times people think it's very black and white. It's one or the other. But it's true. You can have an elite game. I wouldn't say Kenny had an elite game last night.
No,
he made elite throws.
It was an elite drive. That was an elite drive.
There we go. Okay. We're breaking it down.
Right. So I want to touch on that a little more. There's a difference between an elite quarterback and an elite performance. And I think that the two can be interchangeable.
I love that. And you know why I love that? Because that's what I've been preaching all year long. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Hold on. It's the same thing with these other quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo. If they have an elite situation, Kenny Pickett for me is going to be the guy where he has those flashes, but it's always going to be his receivers have to do more to make him look much better. That's why they have George Pickens. That's why they have Deontay Johnson. And that's why we talked about it. In order for Kenny Pickett to be a playoff contending quarterback, they need an elite defense. So Kenny Pickett will always be a guy who's He's a starting he's a starting caliber quarterback, and that's about it.
Yeah. So like I said, if the Steelers faithful are looking for me to apologize, I will just say he showed that he's capable of being a starting quarterback in the National League. He's not on the Johnny Manziel-esque type level where they have a hard time putting together drives and things of that nature. So I apologize for that. I want to keep the conversation rolling. Some more things. Trevor Lawrence and they continue to impress week after week after week. I remember Daniel and I, we were sitting back and he was like, we were talking about the bets. He was like, I don't know if you should bet the Jaguars because they haven't lost to the Tech. And this is actual, this is going by numbers, right? They haven't lost to the
They didn't beat the Texans in 8 straight games.
8 straight games. And I was like, I might not do it. And then was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm not crazy. The Jaguars are the better team. So props to Tua. They came a long way from the conversation we had earlier.
Yeah.
Even Madden seems to love Trevor Lawrence now. They give him an X factor. I don't know why, but he's now a superstar.
Yeah, that's too early. That's way too early. Like,
but he is good.
Yeah. I just think that great.
Daniel, what is that about?
No, he's good, but once again, I'm going based off of expectations. I think this team as a whole, Trevor Lawrence has done the little things that he needed to do well. My biggest gripe with him was always missing the little throws, was, the checkdowns, was, being able to methodically drive an offense down the field. He's been able to do that. I still want to see him take that next step. Like, he's not a top 10 quarterback right now. And I'm not saying anybody's saying that, but he hasn't really, he's shown the flashes, but he hasn't shown me everything I need to say to be, that's a superstar quarterback.
I need him to get some pep in his step because he is
so
boring. He is so boring.
I like the hair.
I love his wife.
It's him.
His wife.
I love
Marissa's great.
I love his wife.
Great.
No, there's no elite quarterback.
Brady used to have long hair.
Not like that.
It'll be
Herbert's
gone.
is
It'll
pretty
be
long.
gone soon.
Herbert's is pretty long. It's not
Yeah,
that long. I mean, I love this Jacksonville team. I mean, I obviously Trevor Lawrence gets all the credit, and he should. He's phenomenal. He's going to be great in this league. But they have a lot of young stars all over this team. Tyson Campbell is phenomenal on the outside. You got Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen, Devin Lloyd. They have a bunch. Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of talent on this football team. And I know it's kind of a weird year. Nobody really expected them to be here, but they're good. I love everything Jacksonville.
Want to keep the conversation going. There are some more things that I've noticed. Jair Alexander proved again what I've been saying this entire year into last year, which is why I felt we got robbed of Jamar Chase versus Jair Alexander, because I've always said Jair Alexander is the best cornerback in the National Football League. And for some reason, I didn't think that was a hot take, but apparently it was. People said, what do you mean Jair is not better than Ramsey? Jair's not better than this. Trey White was mentioned, and I'm just like, I think Jair Alexander again. Look what he did to Justin Jefferson. It's crazy. Jair said when he was coming back off of his injury earlier this season, he said that performance Justin Jefferson had against him was Justin Jefferson, girls, whole 9 yards, pretty. And he said, okay, we'll see. We'll see the next matchup.
Yeah, he talked his talk and then he backed it up.
People were like, oh, it was a safety
in his face.
in
That
the
was-
first quarter.
The first quarter. Yeah.
That's confidence. I love it. That's
I love Jair. Jair's being more talkative. Like, this is the first year you actually hear Jair talk. Jair's been always quiet and been disrespected and been thrown under. But I've said, technique, you watch that guy's film. I think he's the best cornerback in the National Football League. Jalen Ramsey could do that, but Jalen Ramsey seems disinterested sometimes. In a lot
Not
of plays
anymore.
Right.
His time is coming on.
That sounds so familiar to what Jalen Ramsey said to some quarterback. We're talking about AJ Green a couple years ago. He said, "Oh, his time's coming, gone. He's done. Blah 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 blah. The whole 9 yards." And now it's just crazy how the fall from grace. I've always said Jalen Ramsey should transition to safety. I think the guy can hit. I think the guy has ball hawk skills, and I think you don't have to worry about that whole man-to-man coverage. So you move Jalen Ramsey to safety. I think that he'll be cooking. But that's just my take. Brock Purdy, keeping it going. Brock Purdy is impressive to me. What he was able to do was great. He continues to improve week after week after week in the first Kyle Shanahan's system. Did the Raiders find their quarterback?
No.
I mean,
No.
I don't think.
Well, I know, but no, wait. This is a topic you have to sit down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Because we know you're a Derek Carr guy. I want to hear from Yaz and Meg here.
Stidham has dog in him. That's what he has. That's the kind of guy you watch go out there and lead a game like that, and you're like, he looks 10 times better than Derek Carr.
10 times.
There's the 49ers too. It's not like he
Yeah,
played some
against
ball.
a
They have
damn good
good
defense.
It was an impressive game.
No, it was impressive.
That was like that.
I think that he had no choice but to come out that way.
Yes.
After the week, sorry,
No, it's fine.
that the Raiders had, he had no choice. He had to come and ball out. I don't know what he did to prepare, but he did that. I need to see it another week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chiefs next week.
I'm gonna say this, Chiefs fans, hold on to your seats because if there's a guy that could have,
he better. What do you mean? He better.
Yeah, because they're still they're still not at a cornerback on the Chiefs. I've always say this, and I've been preaching this since last year, and people said, "How dare you?" Now Chiefs fans finally say, "Maybe you're right." Steve Spagnuolo is still the worst defensive coordinator in the National Football League. Let's start there. You still don't have corners. You have a fence. The defense is there's a fence. That's what you have. You can go through it at any point in time. And there's still not an answer for Davante Adams. I saw the performance Davante Adams did with robot Derek Carr, and I look at what he could potentially do, especially with a guy like Stidham that can maneuver the pocket and get out of the pocket. He might be in for a rude awakening, especially if you're overlooking, thinking, you know what, we got the number 1 seed. I don't think the number 1 seed is all just wrapped up.
Can we talk about how bad the Chiefs have looked? Like they're winning the close games, respect. But ever since the Bengals game, I'm talking the Texans. I'm talking who else? Texans, Broncos, and I know there was at least one other game that it was close. And it's weird. They're just not blowing these teams out. Like these teams are coming back. So I don't know. They just haven't looked.
And I'll say this, keeping on the topic of the Chiefs, do we owe Russell Wilson enough? I just think the media's been really hard on him.
I agree with that.
Well, yeah, the media, 1,000%.
Yeah.
You do not have to attack a guy's character because of how shit he is on the field. Like, I understand that on the field, he's not that guy. And I don't know. I think he will be that guy again. But right now,
he will.
I think he has next year. And he has
We gotta let him know. Run or pass.
He has no other
Sorry.
chance. He's getting paid so much money.
Yeah.
Like, you have to perform. So I think he is going to figure it out. Hopefully, I don't think I'm gonna. He can do it. But I don't.
I don't think
the
we owe
apology.
him an apology.
No.
I think there are certain media members.
See,
that owe
now
him an apology.
Yaz is being
Yeah, well, no, because I mean, yeah, I feel bad for him. I do want to say that I know somebody on the team, and I asked them, "Did you go to his birthday party?" And he said, "I personally didn't because I had something else going on, but I heard that it was in a small venue and it was actually packed." And he said the media saying that nobody showed up was a lie. Nobody else could have showed up because it was
another
crazy that
thing.
people are actually like.
That's another such a shitty thing to do to
Yeah.
Russ. Like,
Yeah.
why put that out?
right.
there?
Be like nobody went to his birthday party, and then like in real life they actually people did.
What's
Yeah.
maybe it's like draft day.
And it's
They're
like
literally
we're
trying to do the
right, yeah.
same thing,
Yeah.
and but it's also what the media they like to latch on to. When somebody's down, they like to keep them when they're down. Like I understand Russell Wilson, like the stuff that happened with his teammates on the sideline, that's real. That's not what the media is. That's players on players talking about. So that's real. You can talk about that, but to stay sideline or outside of football and to speculate, like relax. Like he hasn't been that quarterback this year, but come on.
We've even seen like the best part about it, like regardless of the player or not, like we said, I've been seeing some of the players come to his defense this last week. It's just awesome to see phenomenal people, regardless if Russell Wilson is playing good football or not. The people in that locker room, most of them anyway, seem to believe it. And sometimes that's all that matters. I'm not saying that that'll get them very far, as long as kind of everybody's going in the same direction, even if it's the wrong direction, they're going as one, and that's a lot better.
I love what our guy Michael Reeves is saying in the comment section. Hold up, we can pull it up. I love it. He says, it's all about having high expectations. The fall was grand because of the rise.
I agree. I have two things there. I was gonna say, if he didn't get this giant contract, would we be criticizing him as hard as we have?
Absolutely
Probably not.
But also, I think some of the
Maybe.
A
pressure.
little.
Hey,
Remember, he
some
was really pushing for it. He was pushing for a trade. I don't know if you guys remember that story that came out where the reason why the whole trade stuff happened. So apparently, this is from sources too. Apparently, back during the Super Bowl when the Seahawks took on the Patriots, Russell Wilson shifted to that role, not Pete Carroll. He apparently wanted to be the hero of the day, and he called a slant pass. Malcolm Butler jumps the route. Ever since then, the team sort of destructed. Russell Wilson apparently wanted to be that guy, and then he went to the Super Bowl where he saw Tom Brady lead the Patriots, go to the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, win the Super Bowl, and apparently he texted Carroll and said, "We can do this. We can do this like big." And he was like basically doing like a mass text message to a lot of people. Let's do it. And they were like, sort of like exactly what the Niners did with Harbaugh. The breaks, and then that's when he felt like there was a disconnection there, and obviously it was tension already rising, and so he asked for a trade. They didn't give him a trade right away. Played that season. Got hurt that season. Came back. Got traded. And got the contract from the Denver Broncos that he talked about. And thought that it was going to be this reawakening of his career. And it was anything but.
It's just the AFC West was supposed to be the best
bloodbath
division in the NFL. And to see the way that it turned out, I think people would still be talking about him just for that fact. Like, some people had the Broncos winning the division. Everyone was like, the Chiefs without Tyreek Hill, like the Broncos are going to be up there. But I think it would still be a topic, but I don't think it would be as much of a personal issue on Russ as it is right now.
I think maybe after this whole segment through, when he got to Denver, I think that he really was like, I can do this. But I think it was like the first couple primetime games that I watched, his receivers were dropping everything. So think about the turmoil that you go through mentally when you get in there and you're not connecting with your receivers. The chemistry isn't there. They're dropping everything. That's causing frustration.
Right.
And then the media is like, whoa, you suck. These are the most boring primetime games ever. Blah, 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 blah. And then it continues to build. Gets in his head. Nobody went to your birthday party. You suck. And obviously now you could see it's really affecting.
Right.
So I wonder if in the beginning it would have started differently if he would have continued to build on that.
I agree.
Also, like Jerry Jeudy called him the greatest teammate he's ever had. Might be Jerry like trying to cover a little bit because he
Yes, I agree. Let's keep the conversation rolling. But before we do, if you're looking to start your career as a broker, there's no better place than First Star Logistics. We've been out here since September. Got a chance to, meet a lot of the employees in Tampa. I hang out with our guy Garrett Dustin. Do so many incredible things. But if you're looking to start your career as a broker, no better place than First Star Logistics. They just did their 10 days. And it was some awesome prizes. We're talking about iPads, TVs, vacation trips, briefcase full of $2,500. I mean, there's so much amazing stuff that happens at First Star Logistics on a day-to-day basis. So the link is down in the description. Make sure you apply today, guys. It's a big game.
It feels like a good day to become the AFC North champions.
Say it again for us, yes?
Feels like a good day to become the AFC North champion.
And you know what? I think it's going to be the day that the Bengals become not only the AFC North champions, but they lock up the number 2 seed in the AFC by beating the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. I want to personally thank the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike Tomlin.
You knocked off the Ravens. You made our path much easier. I think that this is going to be a rude awakening game for the NFL. There's still been a lot of disrespect, and I talk about it often. One of the big reasons why I came here to Cincinnati is because I felt like there wasn't enough putting enough positive light on Cincinnati and being truly that person in the media to really be like, you know what? No, Cincinnati's building something special. If you watch what has happened the last couple of years, what Zach Taylor has been, you might say, oh, it's not sexy. You didn't go out there and grab a Von Miller and pay him $200 million, blah, blah, blah. A lot of that is void years. But they did go out there and they did grab a guy in Trey Hendrickson. Let's talk about me. They go out there, they grab a guy in Trey Hendrickson, who everyone ridiculed the signing. You remember what ESPN said that signing was? They graded that signing a D. They said that he was a run stop. They said he was only benefiting from having Cam Jordan next to him. Well, how does Trey Hendrickson answer that? He has 14 and a half sacks. I think he might have broken the Bengals single season pass sack record that was held by Carlos Dunlap. You pair him with Sam Hubbard. People say, "Oh, Sam Hubbard, he's just a run stuffer." Sam Hubbard has made strides as a pass rusher this year. The Bengals go out there, they draft a guy, Logan Wilson. They say, "Who is that guy?" Why the Bengals draft Logan Wilson? Proves to be one of the studs at linebacker position. Strapped Jermaine Pratt, who was one of the best picks of the Zach Taylor era in the first draft. And the guy that was coveted by the New England Patriots, and Jermaine Pratt, former safety, moves to linebacker, right? So there are so many moves that the Bengals made. DJ Reader, huge signing, the Gravedigger, right? They added DJ Reader. DJ Reader was huge for the Cincinnati Bengals. Funny enough, the Broncos and the Bengals were in a bidding war for DJ Reader. Bengals outbid him, give him more money, guaranteed money. Same thing with Trey Hendrickson. Both of those guys are in Cincinnati. And one of the most impactful signings in Cincinnati that nobody talks about, that I know personally, the Bengals coaching staff coveted, Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton. and it's for what
I
he
was going a
could do.
different route.
You were going a different route? I want to hear what you.
No, go.
Okay.
You're cooking.
I'm cooking right now, and I'm not cooking ramen noodles like Russ. But I'm sorry. I just did exactly.
Apologize, Malik.
Sorry, Russ.
Now
That was
you
wrong.
owe an apology.
That was wrong. But getting a guy like Mike Hilton, especially from an AFC North line,
Right.
Yeah. Mike Hilton was probably. I just so you guys know, I had a weird vibe, like a weird stigma, so to speak, of guys that were former Steelers players and division rivals.
No, he came in so excited to be there.
So
Though.
excited.
He came in
And because he got
excited.
lowballed by the Steelers.
Right.
The Steelers didn't even offer him a contract. He felt disrespectful, right? There's only two guys that I can remember in recent memory that came from the division rival, three guys that actually embodied and really bought into the Cincinnati Bengals. Josh Meyer, who, again, I think people don't give him enough credit for what he did for the linebacker in the Steelers. But it was Larry Ogunjobi, and it was Mike Hilton. Those guys completely embodied everything that was to be a Bengal. I remember when last year when Jack Taylor was like the Bengal way. It sounded almost like the Patriots were doing it. You're starting to see that right now. It's a group of guys, and I can tell you, it rings through from the coaching staff all the way down to the players. It's a group of people just believing in one another. Selfless. They play selfless football. They coach selfless football. The way Zach Taylor and the coaching staff listen to the players, right, and they're able to, take what the feedback the players are giving them on the field, and actually make it work for them inside of the game. It's really, really special what's happening in Cincinnati. And think of that, right? I say this isn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't grab a bunch of players, build a team, and say we're going to the Super Bowl. You can't do that.
Rams.
The Rams did,
and then they imploded.
But they imploded. But I mean, we can talk about that. The Rams did it, but the Rams also struggled to get there. Matt Stafford tried to give up the Super Bowl. He tried to, right? But sometimes talent does overcome everything else. But there was a lot of they didn't really face a lot of hardship on their road to the Super Bowl because the NFC was so weak. What I'm saying here, though, people wrote the Bengals off. People said the Bengals run was cool. People said the Bengals were just one-year wonders. And imagine, like, it's not too often. I said it on the show, and Meg and Danny and Logan. I said
that's Bengals knocking up.
It's not too often where you see a team go to the offense, go to the Super Bowl, terrible positioning, and the next year was strength. That's what the Bengals did. Most teams that go to the Super Bowl, they have to worry about keeping guys because they're losing players. The Bengals team is so young. I think they were playing with house money. One of the sayings for the Bengals defense is money on the floor. That's what they always say. Money on the floor, money on the floor. Right? And I think the Bengals were truly playing with house money. They didn't realize how good they were, right? You don't know the stigma of all these old Bengals teams. That's why I said, I said, these aren't your grandfather's Bengals. These aren't your dad's Bengals where you're waiting for the shoe to drop, where you're waiting for, third and long, waiting for throwing a game-sealing interception. This isn't that. These guys, all they knew was success. They come from winning programs. Joe Burrow is a winner. Everywhere he's been, he's won. I knew he would come back a lot stronger this year. Guys like Jamar Chase, alpha male at the wide receiver position. So when you look at what the Bengals did last year, they were just playing football, backyard football. I genuinely don't think the offense had an identity last year. Right, Logan? It was Hail Mary pass. Let's throw it up to Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase down there somewhere.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now they genuinely have an offensive scheme and they make things work for them. You got guys like Trent Irwin, right? Step it up into the offense. Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Jamar Chase has been a little quiet the last couple of games, but I expect a big game from him tonight because I don't think that there's a corner on the Buffalo Bills that can stick with him. I know we're going to talk about more about that, but yes, what is your talk? I've been going off on a little bit tangent because I feel so passionately about how the Bengals built this team because they built it the right way.
Right. I used to say this all the time about the Bengals that I love that they didn't just go out and do kind of what the Rams did, just throw away all their money. They actually have taken their time to build this team. But I want to go back to the sleepy signing that you were talking about. Von Bell.
Yes.
Put some respect on Von Bell. That's where I thought you were going. I'm like, here we go. And then Mike Hilton. I agree with you fully. But I love Von's ability to carry through an entire play. Like he's always trying to punch the ball out. He's always trying to do anything he can to create turnovers or to just make sure that he's stopping whoever he's defending at that point in time. And I think that also just the culture that he brings, he seems like a really good teammate. Von Bell is one of those guys that I think is a hidden treasure for us.
He's the enforcer.
Yeah.
He's the enforcer.
Yeah, exactly. But
No, I love that. I think you have a guy that goes strictly for turnovers. Like he goes for the ball, and that's it, and that's amazing to have on a defense like the Bengals. I'm really
we need that
excited.
tonight.
Yeah,
We need that
I'm
tonight.
really excited to see that
Turnovers
tonight.
are going to be very,
Jesse
very important.
Bates. Jesse Bates, where you at?
So what I'm gonna say is, and I just want to go back because Malik, got my wheels turning. I want everybody to take a back seat, gain some perspective. What people were saying before the season was Super Bowl hangover, right? Super Bowl hangover, 16 out of the past 18 years. The team that lost Super Bowl got worse. They didn't make the playoffs. What now, right? What now? The simple fact that, okay, you guys said that. They're proving you wrong. They made the playoffs. That should at least show you there's something different. There's something different. This isn't normal, which is why we sit up on the show and every single time we say this team's different. We say this is a completely different team. They are changing the culture in Cincinnati. They're building a potential dynasty, and people are like, whoa, what are you talking about? Joe Burrow, what? He's average. Like, this team is different. When you look at the history, no team does this. Yeah. This team is different. So
I just want to say, when you say, not you say, but when people say a Super Bowl hangover, it can't be listen, a Super Bowl hangover happens when you have expectations, right? When you have expectations. I genuinely, I don't think the Bengals football team last year had expectations. So they shocked a lot of people. They might have had expectations within the locker room.
Yeah.
But I'm saying on the media, so they, again, I think when we say Super Bowl hangover, the pressure comes from outside, and then you let it seep into the locker room, and then you don't really hit on the goals that you sort of have for yourself. Obviously, Joe Burrow-led team and this Bengals football team, they're always looking to get to the Super Bowl. But what I'm saying is, last year, everyone did not think that was possible. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I had the Bengals going, I think 7-10 last year, and I thought that was so exciting. I was like, yeah, like they're gonna win 7 games. The comeback after Joe Burrow got hurt, we're gonna get our groove and go 7-10, and it was amazing to see us in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was wild. I will say there's 2 types of people when you have hangovers. There's me, who will lay in bed the entire day. I'm like, I feel awful. I'm hungover. We're done. There's other people that get up, shower, eat, go to the gym. They're moving and grooving. They might be hurting a little bit, but they're like, I have this hangover and I'm going to beat it. Yeah. That was the Rams and the Bengals. The Bengals said, we're going to get back in there. Started off the season slow. Might have been dealing with a little bit of a hangover, but they were like, we're not letting off the gas. The Rams, they were kind of just like, yeah, we're just going to.
We got a great night.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like, even if they did have this little hangover, whatever, they didn't succumb to it. They were like, here we go.
So let's get to the exciting part of this show. Bills, Bengals. Logan, we're going to start with you, my brother. We're going to start with my co-host on this sit down, which you guys can catch each and every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. Make sure you guys also leave a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Oh, man. We want a score prediction here or just anything and everything? Just what direction are we going to go?
How's the game going?
I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think it's probably going to be a shootout. I mean, I know a couple years ago we had that one Monday Night Football game with the Rams and Chiefs maybe when it was like 50-something to 50-something. I don't think we're going to get that high. I think we're going to get – I mean, this is arguably probably the most anticipated Monday Night Football game ever. There's Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, everything about it. There's going to be a ton of points scored. I don't think any team – we kind of hinted at it on Wednesday last week a little bit. We're like, I don't think any team is really going to show their full identity of how to stop the Bills or how to stop the Bengals because of the fact they could play again in a few weeks. So I expect a crap ton of points to be scored. Whoever gets the ball last has a very good chance to win this football game. I think the Bengals will win. Obviously, I think they match up a little better than the Bills do against them specifically. It's just a great football game, and I'm really excited to watch.
I'm very 50-50, and I hate that I hate that I'm going right after you. No. I hate that I'm going right after him just because I think it's opposite, right? And for me, I think that this is going to be a low-scoring game because everybody, anticipating high-scoring. I think we're going to see right off the bat the Bills' defense. I think they're going to get to Joe Burrow, right? I think it's always an adjustment. Their front four, their front seven, and this is being honest, right? No Lyle Collins. I think it's going to take an adjustment. I think we're going to see the Bengals struggle for a little bit, and I still think the same thing with the Bills. I don't think Josh Allen will be able to figure out Lou Anarumo and this defense. I don't. I think that they're going to have 1 to 2 huge plays that can maybe break it open, maybe in the first quarter, maybe in the fourth quarter. I think this is very tit for tat, back and forth. And I see also, I think we're gonna have a lot of turnovers. I think Josh Allen, one of our guys, Evan McPhillips, he said, I forgot what the stat was, but Josh Allen, a ton of turnover-worthy plays.
Leads the league in turnover-worthy plays, about two a game.
He's gonna give the Bengals a couple gifts. He's gonna give them a gift. So exactly, you got to take it. So I think it's a back and forth game. I think it's low scoring, but at the end of the day, the biggest thing that people don't talk about is the Bengals make other teams play their game. Right? They did that with the Chiefs, and they're gonna do the same exact thing with the Bills. The Bills haven't faced a defense like the Bengals, right? People can say the talent, yes, but the good teams they placed, the Ravens, the Chiefs, nothing. The Dolphins, nothing. Lou Anarumo figured out Patrick Mahomes. I'm trusting him to figure out Josh Allen.
Me? Okay. So I'm gonna say this. Everybody listen, okay? I'm gonna say this because I need the reverse things to work. I think the way the NFL works, I don't know what it is about the NFL. I wouldn't be very surprised if somehow the Bills win tonight so that the Ravens-Bengals game next week matters more.
Sunday night.
The NFL's rigged, guys.
I'm serious. I'm just saying, okay? But anyway, I have the Bengals winning. I do think it's going to be based on turnovers. I heard that Josh Allen loves to throw interceptions. I just looked at the numbers. And I have some dogs on defense that are ready for those. So I think the Bengals win tonight. I'm very excited. I don't know if it's going to necessarily be a really, really high scoring game. I agree with that. And I'm going to laugh so hard if it's like 3-6. That would be hilarious. But yeah, Bengals win. That's all I got to say.
I got the Bengals winning, and I have a score prediction because I would like to be right, and we can come back to this and see it. So I'm going to put it out there. I got 31-28 Bengals.
I just still want.
No shot.
I had the exact same.
No shot. No shot.
That means it's happening.
That's
You gotta
crazy.
go place a bet.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you can place the exact
You can place it
score.
here?
Yeah, right here. It's just
Wow.
That's crazy, yeah. But I feel like with the way we saw the Chiefs game go, the Bengals are going to let the Bills run the ball, right? Because take away what you know you're good at. Take it away. You got Devin Singletary. Let him run. Just let it happen. And I don't think we should be discouraged when we see that happen. When we see him getting the yards, getting big runs, let it happen. Get the ball out of Josh Allen's legs, one, hands, two. So, like, I don't know. I like, apparently we like 28-31 a lot.
Yeah, that is crazy. I have one thing to add on to that before you go. And that's just going to be, you said the word discouraged. And yes, for anybody out there, the Bills are going to score points tonight.
Yes.
Don't give up on the team. It'll all be about the adjustments and us scoring more points. But points will be scored. So just pump the brakes.
I love that. Now, here's what I'm going to say. One thing I'll say is Luana Romo is great at taking the option. Stephon Diggs, I don't think I have to do something like that. They're better out there. I'm not telling you to bet anything, but yards is Josh Allen go to option B, which I do expect Gabe to have. And I expect Josh Allen's touchdowns. I have a running touchdown as well. I think the Bengals are going to. I think the Buffalo Bills are a little bit of food. Bears don't have defense. And I think that that's going to be a really big thing. I see a lot of Bills run the ball and giving false sense of reality. There are a lot better running teams that we face that I think are going to. The Bengals gave them a hard time. I think Josh Allen's going to have the fact that Tim Hubbard is going to be out there. Because Tim Hubbard is at the time. I just think stop rushing you. Trey Hendrickson is going to start talking to Josh Allen. Nothing people aren't talking about it. Here's a part of the game. Logan Wilson and Josh Allen. I understand that was years in the past, but I wonder how that might play a part. He knows. He's going to hit him. I wasn't hitting him in practice. Logan Wilson is one of the most high IQ players. I expect him to. But another thing, here's what I'll say. When you look at it, Joe Burrow in primetime games, especially playing in Cincinnati, has always shown up. Ja'Marr Chase, primetime games in Cincinnati, has always shown up. What do they say? Oh, the stars are out. That's what they say with the Hollywood. Well, the stars are out on the town. This is the night where Ja'Marr Chase and Joe Burrow, that LSU connection, reigns true. All I'm going to say to the Buffalo Bills, if your plan is to guard Ja'Marr Chase with Kaiir Elam, rethink that plan. I understand Kaiir is a man guy. Rethink that plan. If your plan is to guard Ja'Marr Chase with Tre'Davious White is not healthy. Every receiver he's guarded has feasted on him. You have people in the NFL media saying that's the key to the game, expose Tre'Davious White. I'm just telling you right now, I don't think it's going to be a Trent Irwin game like people are predicting. I think this is going to be a Ja'Marr Chase game. And I think Ja'Marr Chase is going to show up in a big way. He's so close to 1,000 yards. He might get 200, to be quite honest. I expect that type of a performance from him, just to remind you guys who Uno is. So, yeah, I got the Cincinnati Bengals winning 31-28. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I wish Mixon wouldn't have fought for the game. I don't want to give them any extra motivation, but even, you know what? Even so, like they say,
he really didn't say anything that controversial.
I think it was worded poorly, or the way it was made seem to be. Like confidence is contagious, right? So, screw what I'm saying.
But it's true. Yeah. Somebody to take the title of the big dogs in the AFC, you got to go win the AFC championship.
Right.
So what he said is correct.
Yes. Right.
Do you, Joe? I'm not wearing a Joe jersey, but we can pretend I am.
Whatever says goes. No, but the God's honest truth, though, I think the Bengals are going to show a lot of people. The Bengals will wrap up the AFC North crown this weekend. I think we might, unless the Chiefs lose to the Raiders, I think next week we might see Brendan Allen starting quarterback of the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to wrap it up tonight. But time for the favorite part of the show. It is Money Mondays. Woo! Money Mondays. We're going to run through this really, really quick. Daniel, where's yours?
So we've got a couple bets. Obviously Bengals versus Bills. I'm actually glad this is Monday Night Football, but I'm actually going to let Meg give us your first prop of the game.
Listen, guys, we're going Joe Burrow over rushing yards. Tip away. Move the chain. He loves prime time. He's going to do everything he can to win this game. So easy. Not even a question. He had 50 rushing yards against the Chiefs. Big game. He loves it, and he's going to get it.
So I'm going to go with our guy. We talked about him earlier, Ja'Marr Chase. Right, we're taking his over 24.5 for the longest reception. Listen, the Bills statistically are the worst tackling defense in the league.
The worst.
We've seen their guys, Damar Hamlin. I used to love him out of Pitt, but he's not that guy, as a safety. And all it takes is one broken tackle. Ja'Marr Chase is gone. Right, and all it takes is one big play. So I'm taking Ja'Marr Chase over 24.5, the longest reception. You can take his over in receiving yards too. I love that. But longest reception, Ja'Marr Chase, explosive receiver. It's going to be a back and forth game. The Bengals probably aren't going to be running the ball a ton. So expect Ja'Marr Chase to get at least 10 targets. He'll cash the over longest reception. And I know we got Bengals. Somebody's got a money line pick for us. Bengals, Bills.
100%. Mm-hmm. By the way, yesterday I hit a 5-game money line and parlay. So if you're trusting anybody, trust me today. Ooh. Bengals money line.
Yep. And I agree with Yaz. Yesterday I hit a huge parlay as well. So I've got Bengals money line. We both got Bengals money line minus 105. I think the Bengals become the kings of the AFC North tonight. And Bengals fans, make sure you guys show up. Make sure you're loud. Make sure there are tons of Who Dey chants raining through the city of Cincinnati. A lot like the Miami Dolphins game, how it was a college-like atmosphere. I expect this game to be no different. I expect this game to be on fire. Logan, I know you're pumped up. Yeah. Danny, I know you're pumped up. Yaz, Meg, the whole crew is pumped up. And I know Wednesday's show will be wearing some AFC North championship gear. But that's all the time that we have live on the sit down. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We hope that you guys have an amazing night. Make sure you guys leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the Sit Down with Malik Wright's YouTube channel. Again, multiple shows consistently. So we appreciate your support. We'll see you guys tonight. Good day.